G'day guys, welcome to another series of our podcast, The Legendary Morons.
Welcome to wherever you may be listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's get into it, Pete.
Yeah, so last time we were talking about Darwin City Council.
Yes.
And
No, we weren't.
Oh.
No.
Two times?
Yeah, we're going to go back a few. We've got a lot of episodes, so we've got a lot of editing to do.
Sorry, it's been a long lunch.
Yeah, we're talking about the cricket.
Yeah, and at one stage we talked about Darwin City Council and their changes and their this and their that and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was getting a bit irked about the fact that, we pay these consultants big money to come up from down south and tell us how to name ourselves or how to feel or how to look or whatever. So I just went on a quick trip to Singapore and spent some time there. And
Welcome back.
Thank you. And I was doing some... when I go there, I love reading the local newspapers.
Yeah.
The Straits Times, the Business Times. There's a weekend magazine-style paper called The Edge. And there's heaps of others, but they're the ones I like.
Magazine's still around?
Well, it's not a magazine. It's a magazine style, so it's glossy.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it was an interesting read.
How many people in Singapore out of curiosity?
5.8 million.
Okay.
Yeah, in an island that spans 58 kilometres. So think about that for a while. It goes up rather than out.
Yeah.
But a Singapore-based Australian company.
Yep.
Has just been awarded a contract. So one of the major shopping strips in Singapore is Orchard Road.
Yes.
And Orchard Road would be comparable with Rodeo Drive or similar type strips in Paris or Italy, etc., etc. I'm mixing my countries and my cities there, but you know what I mean. So Orchard Road is just shop after shop after shop in big high-rise buildings, and basically over the years they've built it out. So like Smith Street Mall, they're struggling to get people to go there nowadays. Including the ERP, which was introduced probably 10 or so years ago now, which means that at certain times of the day you have to pay to use that road by car. And this Singapore-based Australian company has just been given a contract to do a study, which is going to take 6 months or 12 months, to then go back to the Singapore government to tell them what they can do to get people to go back to Orchard Road.
Oh, wow.
And I went, wow.
A few cinema, yeah.
So there's so many synergies there with Smith Street Mall and Darwin City and Mitchell Centre, which is also, in my opinion, not living up to its potential. And here's the thing. The two 60-plus white males who are charged with doing this research, I had to think to myself, wow, it's interesting how humankind keeps making the same mistakes over and over again and doesn't learn.
Right.
So this company will earn millions to do this research and to tell them whatever it is they tell them. But at the end of the day, a little throwaway line in the article said they're dealing with e-commerce or online retailers, but that's not why people don't go there. No, that is why people don't go there. Right. And as soon as they cotton on to the fact that people's habits have changed, how we consume, how we buy, how we interact, Orchard Road will remain like the Smith Street Mall.
Absolutely.
Will remain the tumbleweed zone that it is.
And Amazon will keep growing.
Absolutely. And I mean, Amazon's now in Australia, and their remit is simple. Destroy all competitors. Yeah. You can like that, you can not like it, but that's their remit. Oh, wow. So, I found that interesting, among many other things. And, the Singaporeans have got a lot of things right. Yeah. But they've got thousands of malls. Why would I choose to go to Orchard Road, which is overpriced, targeted to the tourist and tourist dollar? Now, it does attract Chinese and Japanese and, other tourists with a lot more money than you and I've got. Yeah. But, why would I choose to go and buy a watch for $8,000 when I can get the same or similar thing, for probably $500 somewhere else?
Wow.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Well, good trip?
Yeah, overall good. Overall
You got
good.
to relax for the 3-4 days?
Yes, got to stretch out and enjoy the amenities of the hotel, and it's a good place. It's easy to get around. It's clean, tidy, safe. Although the cost of living has increased there dramatically in recent years.
Get synergies to Darwin.
Yeah, I think so. But I work on the Coke Index.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever I travel in the world,
Yep.
show me a can of Coke and show me the cost, and I can tell you the relative cost of living.
Brilliant.
The Coke Index, the Chips Index, basically the junk food index. And Singapore is. I was there 2 years ago, and I've noticed prices have gone up significantly.
Yeah, I haven't been there for years. I think we've got to go on the underground monorail, is that what they call it?
MRT.
MRT, that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Sentosa Island a few times.
Yeah.
Got pissed there a few times. So.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. All right, well, let's talk about most recently.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see my little article that I got from The Hustle? So for 2 days, whatever it was, our friend Mark Zuckerberg
Loved it.
was grilled by what is Congress, 60-year-old people that run our country.
Yeah.
And
or their country.
Their country, correct.
Yeah.
Less than tech savvy. And I, as I said on my Facebook post, Facebook stock went up for the first time because they made themselves look like complete tools. Morons. And I've been saying this in real estate, in consumer behaviour. The world has changed. We used to learn from our teachers. They used to teach me, like even when I was early days in real estate, teach me.
Yeah.
But then I worked out at some point, you can't teach me anymore because I know a little bit more than you. Not saying that in a cocky way, saying that in a willing to work hard, in a age where there's information, infinite information if you're willing to search and find it.
Yep, correct.
And Mark Zuckerberg was making these guys look like clowns.
Well, whenever I travel overseas, whenever I turn the television on, I always put on CNN.
Yeah.
I find it's a fairly good source for just what's going on in the world, whether it's sport, whether it's current affairs, whatever it might be, breaking news. So the two things that were dominating CNN in the time that I was away was one, Mark Zuckerberg fronting Congress for those 2 days, and the other was the controversy that is the Trump presidency. Let's leave that to one side. I could literally talk days about that guy, but none of it would be positive.
What is it? A celebrity in chief, they call him now.
Yeah, he's a fool. But anyway.
Sorry, I'll just say one more thing. The most entertaining reality show ever.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it, is that every time I look at him, from his ridiculous facial expressions to everything he does, everything he says, I mean, imagine any leader of any country tweeting, goading leaders of other countries. So, as I say, I could talk days about it.
Put that aside, let's go back to Zucks.
The whole Zucks thing I found fascinating.
Man, wasn't it?
And look, he's a less than affable bloke. Let's be honest. I mean, I know the movie about the creation of Facebook and all that is very much dramatised, but those dramas don't come about without there being some element of truth to them.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating because he was willing to front, which I think was great.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
A lot of them wouldn't be, but. At the end of the day, the people who were grilling him, if you want to call it that.
Grilling him, he was destroying them.
If they just did even 5 minutes of research beforehand, it would have been handy. Because some of the questions, I literally had to take a double take to work out whether there was a punchline coming or whether it was a joke. It was
disgraceful.
It was both fascinating and painful at the same time.
But a thing that we've always been saying, if you've got 30 years experience at something, it almost means nothing anymore. In fact, it's backwards.
So, I don't like people that talk about the Google algorithm, right? I've sort of literally had it, because the thing about it is that when you drill down, Google doesn't make 1 cent of money from SEO. right? So those companies that help businesses to get their websites found online, search engine optimization.
That's what SEO is. Yeah.
Google makes no money from that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So Google doesn't want people making money from it because it doesn't. It can't share in that revenue. So it changes its algorithm or code more than once a day. So no one knows what it is.
No, yeah.
Now, as a result of that, there's so much overcomplicated digital speak. But the reality is this. If you think you can go away, build a website, stick it online, and then leave it for a month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah,
And it's the same with everything, with every digital property you have. So Facebook will reward you for putting content.
That's right.
It'll reward you for entertaining or interesting or
viral posts.
Content that engages people. But if you just leave it for a week or 2 weeks, basically the digital space says, well, they're not interested, so why am I?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Great way to explain it.
And I don't know. I'm a white male. Shoot me or sue me. You can see that. But I'm also a person who is interested in that space and knows that it changes every day. And there's a lot of people in this world that are charged with making decisions on behalf of a whole lot of people that they really have no place being in charge of. So, look, at the end of the day...
Like Congress. Sorry.
Well, that's my point. At the end of the day, Facebook's a business. It makes money by selling ads.
Yeah. And with video and podcast magic, your shadow's gone.
Magic, hey.
Now, you guys can't see it, but we're also shooting a video whilst recording this podcast as well.
Yeah, so if you're listening on the audio version, there is no change. If you're watching it on the video, you'll see that I'm no longer up in lights.
There's got to be a way that we know that something goes on, right?
Yeah, it's above my pay grade.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let me know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking some sort of electric shock system's the way to figure it out. But anyway. So we were talking Facebook ads and...
Targeted ads.
Just the fact that, they make them relevant. They're not going to show a female who's shown no history of being interested in sport or whatever. They're not going to start suddenly showing her, sports bet ads or this, that or the other. And they're not going to show you, for example, the latest bridal gowns.
That's right.
That's the beauty of it. So, they've got your information, but that's actually a good thing. It's so the ads that you do see, you will have some interest in. You may not click on them, that's fine. Yeah. But it's about targeting people who are the most relevant to the product or service that are trying to be, that people are trying to sell. Of course, at the moment, the big thing is 25-year-olds running agencies of digital nature. But, that'll clean itself up too naturally as well.
Oh, have you seen this?
Probably not. Protecting your information.
Like from Facebook.
Oh.
We understand the importance of keeping your data safe and we're making it easier for you to control which apps you share information with. You can go to the apps and website section of your settings at any time to see the apps and website you've logged into using Facebook. You can also remove the ones you don't want to have connected to Facebook anymore. Go to settings.
Well, that is really relevant in my life because yesterday, when I was sitting in my hotel waiting to head off, I got look at that. I got a message via Facebook that my wife had scored some score on some basketball game through Facebook. And I thought, absolutely no chance in hell that was her playing that game. Oh. And the kids have gone and downloaded these Facebook apps. And of course, it sends out the results to people in her messenger list or her contact list.
Block.
So she was only asking me earlier today, can I get rid of that? And I said, well, there's absolutely no doubt you can, but I shan't be doing it right now. So I'll go to the websites and apps settings and do that for her.
Okay, perfect. What do you know about a little local entrepreneur, which is he's actually going to come on a podcast?
Yeah.
Sam Coon.
Well, I know that we're connected on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I see him post in a lot of different areas. So don't know him personally, but tell me more.
Well, he's got the Recover Me GPS tracking. Little things, which I think is a fantastic idea.
Yes, it is. I've dabbled in that area myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you've got cars on the roads, and in a business sense, I mean, and you want to know where those cars are for a million different reasons, they are invaluable.
Yeah, and you've got the Darwin, what is it? The performance site, the car site. It's quite a large site that helps people find their cars. This is just an addition to that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what a lot of employees sort of jump at is, that's invasion of my privacy, or hang on, it's actually for your safety.
Yeah.
It's actually for the car's safety, because you can put information such as renewal dates for registration, you can put in servicing dates, you can put in driver license renewal dates. There's a million things you can do. So while this whole privacy thing comes up, the first reaction of any business owner should be, well, if you're doing your job, you've got nothing to worry about.
Exactly right.
But they're brilliant. They really are. And they can also help with driver safety, driver fatigue. They give you stats on average speeds,
there you go, Sam.
when you're braking too hard, when you're accelerating too hard, when you're speeding in, if you're doing 180 zones. There's so much information they can give.
There's a lot of benefits to that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
How do you know so much?
I dabbled in this area previously and set up a few businesses here locally with vehicle tracking systems.
Cool. Well, let's close out this podcast with a big announcement. Do we want to put that announcement forward of what we discussed today?
I don't think it can hurt.
No.
In fact, I think it can only help.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Well, guys, I'll start it by saying we have digital marketing agencies, and we have digital marketing agencies.
Yeah.
Some better than others, some that have been around for a while and practices in the industry have changed and they haven't caught up with that. And then, don't get me wrong, there's some leaders here. We like to surround ourselves with some of the most innovative people in the territory. But on that conversation, we've built this digital platform, the podcasting.
Yes, absolutely.
You are no stranger to website building, SEO, ranking.
Yep, that is true.
And some would say, I know how to use social media to connect and show a true, authentic side of yourself.
Tick.
All that combined with what we know with the internet being in its infancy, and combine that with people that are not keeping up with the times.
Yeah, very much so.
I think we owe this to Darwin.
Yeah, I think so. And I talked earlier about my days at Yellow Pages, or Census, as it's also known now, or as it is known now.
Yeah.
And the great shock that I suppose I had with my 150 or so client list that I was running at that time was these people, business owners, small to medium-sized business owners, are already in the business of advertising in the digital space.
Right.
And it was shocking to me how little they know.
Yeah.
Now, that's not a judgment on them.
Yep.
It's a judgment on the people that are supposedly meant to be helping them, because it was frightening to me how little they knew, even though they were spending money, and in many cases a lot of money, on the digital marketing space.
They're not getting a lot of return either.
Well, no. And if they were getting a return, having no way to measure it and no way to figure out how it was returning. So, I think you're right. Owing it to the market is part of how I see it, because I left that environment thinking, it's small and medium-sized business that I'm passionate about, and helping them to get found. Because there's nothing more, nothing less than that.
Yeah.
How do you get found online? How do you stand out from your competitors?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it.
Well, we're brewing something. It's happening. I'm hoping we've given you enough information there. Well, I will say about 5 years ago when I used to live in Bellamac, I think my son was 1. Oh, yes, it is 5 years ago. And I wanted to connect the suburb together. With the help of a few people, Sue Fraser Adams and Valda Ione, we created a little suburb called Bellamac Community. What happened with that is we started to connect, and it was featured on the news. I've still got the YouTube video up there. And it was neighbours keeping an eye out for each other in today's world, rather than, I guess you could say Neighbourhood Watch was still pretty active then. I'm sure it's active now. But this community group, I should say, grew from 10 of us grew to 80, featured on the news, went to 120, and then everyone else was like, oh, can you do one for my suburb? Can you do one for my suburb? And, fast forward today, we have nearly every suburb in Darwin up and active now, nearly. Some have only got 10 members, but some have also got up to 2,000-3,000 per suburb. It's a really great way of connecting with your community. Find lost dogs. I know the media's run some negative stories on them, and there've been a lot of hard work over the years. But I want to thank all the administrators that have helped. It is completely voluntary over the years to maintain these groups.
Yep.
And now you as a recent administrator for Stewart Park Community.
Yeah.
Fantastic job.
Thank you.
We are going to continue to grow a authentic group of people where you can communicate to your suburb. Over the years, we've had problems with spamming. We've mitigated that as much as we can, and now we get new insight tools for groups as well. So, I think we've built platforms there that any digital agency that represents being a digital marketing expert or a business social media marketing expert doesn't have these tools. So I think...
Yeah, agreed. And my great bugbear, and as you say, look, this will unfold over the coming weeks, but my great bugbear is that so often do I hear, and have I heard for the last 2 or 3 years, about businesses spending money for digital marketing in various forms, and them having absolutely no idea whether that was well spent or not well spent. And look, we're not in the business of trying to hoodwink people. We're not in the business of trying to sell them something they neither need nor want. But we absolutely know how to get in touch with your clients, regardless of what you do, and we can assist you to do that in a cost-effective manner that will achieve results. And look, I'm always mindful of the fact that everybody says that, and every second ad on Facebook nowadays says that. But this is local marketing, which is really quite different to what
specialised Darwin marketing. Are we forming Darwin's most innovative marketing digital agency?
Well, the answer to that is yes, we are.
Stay tuned for more details.
I'm Peter Gowers.
And I'm Peter Kafkas. This is Legendary Morons. Catch you on the next podcast.
See ya.